When Hyundai introduced the all-new 5th generation Santa Fe late last year, its boxy design was practically begging for a more off-road oriented version. Now thankfully, when I first saw this vehicle out in Santa Fe, the company was already ready with an XRT concept car that had increased ground clearance, a set of all-terrain tires, and just a general look that literally reminded me of a Korean Defender. Now thankfully, we didn't have to wait too long for Hyundai to come out with an actual production version of the Santa Fe called the Santa Fe XRT, and today I'm actually out here just outside of Nashville, Tennessee, in Franklin to finally see the all-new Santa Fe XRT. As you can see, this particular one is painted in rockwood green. It has a set of all-terrain tires on a unique 18-inch wheel with an additional 1.3 inches of ground clearance. So the big question I want answered, for those of you who have had your eye on the Santa Fe, but you wanted something that actually had some off-road capability that befits its boxier styling, how does the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe XRT stack up? Stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, I want to interrupt this video to give you a brief shout out to the sponsor of this review, Keeps. Now what exactly is Keeps? Well, they're an online subscription service that provides hair loss treatment plans recommended by licensed medical professionals. Because they are online, they offer 24/7 support, and from my personal experience, proven results. Now I know this because I've been using Keeps for a few years now, and let me tell you, it's one of the best products out there that allows you to keep the hair while you still have it left on your head. The other great thing about Keeps is it's super easy to fit into your daily routine. Every day I just take this one small pill, and then twice a day, once in the morning, once at night, I just use this mousse in my hair. And like I said earlier, it's just really easy to fit into my daily routine. So what are you waiting for, guys? Hair loss stops now with Keeps, and to claim this special offer, be sure to go to www.keeps.com/redline, or simply click in the link in the description below. And now let's get back to the video. Now, before we start talking about the exterior styling differences with the XRT versus other trim levels of the Santa Fe, I thought I'd pop the hood and show you guys what's powering this thing. Now, unlike some other trim levels, which is available with either a gas or a hybrid powertrain, Hyundai only offers the XRT in one powertrain configuration, and it's the standard engine, a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now, as you can see underneath this hood, this is an engine that Hyundai first introduced a few years ago. The Santa Fe first got it back in 2021 as an uprated engine. This is a 2.5-liter turbo gasoline direct injection 4-cylinder, part of their Smart Stream engine family, and it's rated at 277 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. It all goes out through an 8-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission. And unlike the previous generation XRT, which offered a choice between either front or all-wheel drive, this time Hyundai only offers the XRT with the company's H-Track all-wheel drive system, which is an $1,800 option on every other trim level of the Santa Fe. Now, fuel economy is going to be the worst compared to the other trim levels of the Santa Fe because of the all-terrain tires and the suspension lift. It's still rated at a reasonable 19 in the city, 26 on the highway, 22 combined. It has a 17.7-gallon fuel tank, so you're looking at around 350 to 380 miles of range on a full tank. That's on regular gas. The 0 to 60 performance Hyundai doesn't talk about. I'll have to wait until I get one out on the road to see what this thing is like in terms of that back home. And in terms of the towing, Hyundai says that this model will tow the most thanks to improved cooling for the powertrain. So this one model here will tow a maximum of 4,500 pounds, which is 1,000 pounds more versus the other trim levels of the Santa Fe. And literally more than double the capacity of the Santa Fe hybrid. Now, in terms of the curb weight, this new model has gotten larger, so it is considerably heavier. As this vehicle sits, it weighs in at just under 4,500 pounds. But let's go ahead and close up this hood and talk about the exterior styling. Now, this vehicle in general really has gotten a lot of attention ever since Hyundai revealed the car in Korea, and now finally seeing it out in the real world in this rockwood green exterior color. I really love how Hyundai is offering like a dark green. You can also get it in like a bright orange or red exterior color. What you can't get, however, is blue, but I think on the XRT trim, this green color really works well with the boxy lines. You can see there is a big H theme here with this new generation Santa Fe. You can see the LED light signature for the daytime running lights have an H. You have LED low and high beams. You have another H that's actually in the Hyundai grille, where it has this little light bar that connects the two headlights together. You have this nice new Hyundai logo here, which is black painted. And unlike the calligraphy trim, which had kind of like a mesh finish to the actual grille, this has kind of like a metallic look where it's actually closed off. You have some active grille shutters down here. And then you can see there are some nicely integrated parking sensors. There's another H that's actually in the lower front fascia in the painted section if you kind of look a little bit closely. And you can see on the XRT model, you actually do get a nice steel bash plate underneath the vehicle, so it does actually give you some protection if you plan to take this car off-roading. But overall, let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the look of this vehicle or you prefer the look of the calligraphy trim. As I move around the side profile, you can see the boxy profile of this new Santa Fe really kind of screams more body-on-frame SUV. It again looks like the, love child between a Land Rover Defender and a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. Some of you have said it looks like a Ford Flex. I can also kind of see the resemblance there, but this is still built on the same N3 architecture that was introduced on the refreshed Santa Fe in 2021. So it's still a unibody architecture with a four-wheel independent suspension. The vehicle's overall length is just under 191 inches long. It's around 6 inches shorter than a Hyundai Palisade. Its wheelbase is around 110.8 inches long. That's 2 inches longer than the previous generation and 2 inches longer in overall length as well than the previous generation. It's also around 2 inches taller and an inch wider. So again, much more, significant stance and more aggressive design. Now, one of the big upgrades with the XRT version are these unique 18-inch wheels, which have a gloss black finish to them. They're wrapped in a Continental terrain contact all-terrain tire on a 245 by 60 R18, so it's a 30-inch all-terrain tire. This is the first Hyundai vehicle to actually get a factory all-terrain tire, and the suspension has also been lifted around 1.3 inches, so you have a total of 8.3 inches of ground clearance. That's around 0.1 inches more than the previous XRT, but it still has roughly around 0.4 inches less versus something like a Subaru Outback, which could be this car's main competitor. You can see the XRT version, instead of the glossy black painted fender wheel arch trim and a side trim, it's actually just an unpainted plastic. You can see that it still has the Santa Fe badge here on the fender with gloss black mirrors. These mirrors don't electrically fold, but they do have integrated turn signals. And one thing Hyundai forgot to put, however, are like 360 cameras and like an off-road camera view. That's something some competitors give you, but sadly not on the XRT. You do have even more black accents. The roof rails, you can see, are also black accented. This actually adds around 2 inches of additional height. The XRT also rolls in a standard sunroof. That is standard, but if you want the twin panel sunroof, which you can get on the Limited and the Calligraphy, it's not available on this particular trim. The XRT is also the first Santa Fe trim to also get the integrated C-pillar assist handles. So this basically allows you to push that in, although for some reason this seems to be stuck. I'll show it to you on the other side. That basically allows you to push that in where you can actually get in and take a look at the what's up on the roof. And then moving away from this angle here, you can see the Rockwood green really looks great out in this background or this backdrop here in Franklin, Tennessee. Looking at the rear of the SUV, you can see it's got one of the most square and upright designs that you're gonna find. Hyundai says that, again, they wanted to really never let you forget that this is a big box. It was technically designed from the rear first, and one of the reasons why the taillights are so low is because Hyundai wanted to give this the largest rear opening that you're going to find in this segment. You can see there's an XRT badge here along with the H-Track badge. XRT used to just be kind of like an appearance package, but I like the fact that Hyundai's been slowly making it more and more of an actual, hardware upgrades to give it that off-road capability. There's a nicely integrated rear spoiler here with the rear window wiper kind of hidden underneath the spoiler. The taillights also have that H design to the light signature. You have integrated parking sensors, a chrome exhaust tip over to the side on the passenger side of the SUV. And then I'll show you really quick here. There, that actually opens up. You can see this is a really nice feature where you can basically put your foot here and then hoist yourself up to the roof if you need to actually put stuff there. The Hyundai says that you can also get crossbars. The roof rails will hold up to 220 pounds, I believe, of static weight. Now, in terms of the cargo capacity, a power liftgate is included on this trim. This is technically based off of the SEL trim. And then when you look at the cargo space, you can see a third row is standard. Hyundai says you have around 14.6 cubic feet of storage space back here, which is actually a pretty usable amount. There's also a little bit of underfloor storage here along with your jack. There's also a temporary spare tire underneath there, which is better than nothing. I would have liked to see a full-size spare with a matching alloy, but you can't have everything. You can see the taillight actually moves to become this portion here when the tailgate is open, and that's because that's for regulatory emissions or regulatory rules and whatnot. You can see the opening is literally 5 inches wider versus the previous generation. It's one of the largest openings you're going to find. The hood struts, you can see, had to have a new design to allow for the tailgates to have this wide of an opening, along with the low mounting point of the actual taillights themselves. If you fold down the third row seat, which is manually foldable, you can see it expands the cargo to around 40.5 cubic feet. Fold down the second row, which, as you can see, this model comes with a bench. It'll expand it out to just under 80 cubic feet, which is a pretty usable amount. That's around 6 to 8 more cubic feet versus the previous generation. So the exterior of the Santa Fe XRT certainly has a slightly more unique look to it, but let's go ahead and hop into the interior and see some of the changes on this trim level versus the calligraphy that we're also taking a look at this event. First thing I want to show you, however, here is the key fob for the vehicle. You can see it's the newer fob that Hyundai introduced on the Ioniq 6 with this kind of silver exterior texture to it. The key itself is a nice egg shape. It's a decent size, although I did notice that the key fob itself shows scratches pretty easily, so you may want to consider covering this up with something to prevent the actual key from showing all those scratches. Now you can see the key is cool because if you flip it over on its side, it actually shows the Hyundai logo there with the orientation of the buttons. You have your usual lock, unlock, remote start, panic function, and then your power liftgate function. This trim does not have the smart park feature where you can move the vehicle forward and back with the actual fob, but it does include their digital key 2.0 system. That's included on the SEL trims and up, which means you can use your smartphone as a key to access the vehicle or unlock it with your smartphone through the app as well. Now, as I approach the vehicle, you can see there's a traditional door handle here. If I touch the lock button here, you can see the doors will lock. The mirrors, however, do not fold on this trim. Touch the back of the door handle and that will unlock the door. The car does not offer an auto walkaway lock or unlock feature. Now, I hope you guys like a black interior because the XRT only comes with this black H-Tex interior, which is a faux leather material. The seats adjust in 10 different ways. They are heated, but they are not ventilated. It also has an XRT badge embossed into or embroidered into the actual seat back themselves. The fake leather material feels pretty good. It feels almost like real leather. This is going to probably be more durable versus the leather that you get in the limited and the calligraphy trim. The door panel material, you can see it has some soft touch injection molded plastic here. It has some faux stitching with the aluminum accents. Instead of the fake wood, you have this kind of fake carbon fiber look, aluminum textured trim. And then there's also nice padding here. The windows are one touch up and down for the front, however, not for the rear. And then, like I said earlier, no memory seats, no power folding mirrors. You have some a little bit of storage here. You also don't have the Bose premium stereo system. So if you guys are an audiophile, you'll have to move up to the limited trim. Now stepping inside the interior, you can see this vehicle still has a nice easy step in height. Honestly, it doesn't feel that much taller versus the limited trim, or I'm sorry, versus the calligraphy trim that I drove earlier today. Shutting the door has a nice solid sounding thunk. Remember, this is built on the same N3 architecture that they introduced on the refreshed Santa Fe a couple of years ago. Now starting the vehicle up, you can see start stop button is right here. This is not a hybrid or a mild hybrid. They don't offer the hybrid powertrain on this trim. But once you turn the vehicle on, you can see the engine fires right up. Let me turn the air conditioning speed down. And then you're graded basically with two 12.3-inch displays. Now in the center here, all of them will come standard with the 12.3-inch display with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see my phone is on the wireless charger and it's connected automatically. This also includes navigation in the actual embedded system, so that's included in the XRT trim. Most of you will just use the CarPlay anyway. The difference, however, is instead of a full 12.3-inch screen here in the calligraphy or limited, you have a 4.2-inch helper screen with kind of like an analog digital style gauge display for the tach and the speedometer. This definitely looks still almost like digital, but it doesn't have the same kind of clarity and customization that you get in the limited or the calligraphy trim. You still have that driver monitor camera here, or sensor that basically watches your face that goes with the Highway Driving Assist 2.0. And then you can see the steering wheel basically almost looks like it was pulled out of a Land Rover. There's still paddles on the wheel. You have your little new Hyundai logo here, which has the 4 Morse code dots, which is supposed to be H in Morse code. The horn, it sounds nice. It's nondescript, but it doesn't sound puny. It sounds appropriate given the size of the vehicle. You have a manual tilt telescoping arrangement for the steering wheel, which I expected. No heads-up display on this trim, but you can see there's still a soft touch injection molded plastic with the faux stitching. It's the same material from the door carried over into the upper portion with that same kind of textured alloy carbon fiber look trim. You still have the 6.6-inch touchscreen climate display here, but you can see this trim loses the heated steering wheel and the ventilated seats, so you just have 3-level heated seats. You have dual zone climate control. I like how Hyundai still throws in, a volume knob and a temperature, or a volume knob and a tuning knob. You can see, push that button here, that brings up your backup camera with the parking sensors. You can also go to different views, but again, no 360 camera on this vehicle. It would have been nice to have, especially when you plan to go off-roading. A front camera would have been a great option to also include. So I'm a little sad that Hyundai doesn't offer that there. Your drive mode selector is here. You can see there's still 4 modes: normal, sport, my drive, and then snow. And then there's also a 4-wheel drive lock switch because it'll lock the system in a 50-50 torque split. Your auto start stop defeat is there, and you can see there's also a downhill assist braking control, parking sensor switch, off control there. And then your drive mode selector is right here. I'm sorry, your transmission selector is now electronic. Kick it toward me to go to reverse, brings up the camera. Kick it for you to go forward, away from you to go to drive. And then that's all pretty straightforward. You can see they moved it here to free up more center console space. You also have a nice little extra storage space down here. You have a wireless phone charging pad here, and I love the design because it's raised up, so my phone with its thick case and the kickstand will actually sit right there, and it'll also reliably charge, and it provides better cooling when the phone is charging, which is nice. The calligraphy trim includes a dual charger, only one on the other trims of the Santa Fe. Nice cup holder design here. You can see this console has a dual hinge design where you can open it up the traditional way, or rear seat passengers can open it up from here. There's also a nice storage area, and you can also pull out the divider here. There's also a hidden storage area down there where you can actually hide some things, and the rear passenger, when they open this up, you can see there's another hidden storage compartment there that you could put whatever you'd like to hide in there. So it's got some clever storage options that I think a lot of owners are going to appreciate. The seats, like I said earlier, are heated. They are 10-way power on the driver, 8-way on the passenger. The fake leather feels pretty decent. You also have a secondary glove box here, which on the calligraphy and the limited trim, you'll actually have a UVC filter here, or light filter, which will actually sanitize your phone or whatever you put in there in 10 minutes. This trim doesn't have it. You also have your standard glove box here, which is damped but not lined with felt. It's a bin style, offers a good amount of additional storage. The mirror is not auto dimming. You can't get the digital camera rearview mirror. You do have LED map lighting here, but no LED ambient lighting. That's on the limited trim. You also have a standard sunroof. You can see no sunroof over the second row. This actually opens up and tilts to vent air, which again, this is the only trim to get the standard sunroof. You can't get that on the SEL trim. But overall, the interior certainly has most of the tech features you'd want. I wish Hyundai would offer the memory seats and the ventilated seat as an option, along with perhaps the dual wireless chargers as part of like a premium package. But overall, I think that they've thrown in a lot at this XRT trim, especially considering how much more affordable this is versus the calligraphy that I was in earlier today. Moving to the back seat of the Santa Fe XRT, you can see this model only comes with the bench seat in the second row. If you guys want captain's chairs, you have to go for the calligraphy trim. But you can see in terms of the material quality, it's pretty much the same as the front. You have that soft touch injection molded plastic with the fake stitching, fake aluminum trim here, nice padding area over here, cup holders mounted in the door. You also have a little bit more storage over here. And then this bench seat obviously allows for seating for up to 7 people as opposed to 6 if you had the captain's chairs. But once you get back here, you can see the space. This is where I'd have the front seat to drive. You can see legroom back here is plentiful. I mean, this is easily around 3 more inches of legroom versus an Outback. Hyundai says there's 42.3 inches of legroom, which is a stupid amount. You can see the seats, they do slide forward and back manually via this little, release bar. Where it gives the third row a little bit more space. You can see the floor is not completely flat, but the vehicle is wide enough where you could sit 3 people across. Over here you have 2 USB-C charging ports. You have that little cubby that pulls out that allows you to kind of put stuff there. You have 2 storage compartments. Your rear seat air vents are here on the actual B-pillars. Which is nice. And then you can see here there's an armrest that folds down and gives you 2 cup holders. I think this setup is definitely better, especially if you guys, plan to use this to actually carry people back here, which is nice. In terms of the headroom space, you can see there's plenty of headroom in this car, especially without the panoramic sunroof. I'm 5'7", I'm not the tallest, but I could easily get comfortable here on those longer road trips. You do have some LED map lighting here, some grab handles there, which is nice. And then hopping into the third row, let's go ahead and show you guys that really quick. You can see Hyundai makes it pretty easy. There's a button down here or a button down here, and you can also recline this seat if you prefer. Just push that button, the seat will kind of hydraulically move forward. You can see I have the third row folded down right now, but pull that up, you can see this third row will obviously seat 2 people across. But let me go ahead and show you guys what the space is like back here. Now, this seat here, I'm gonna go ahead and push it back and pull it all the way back. Now, first of all, when the seat is back like this, I'm gonna recline this a little bit as well, so you can actually recline the third row if you guys want. Now, at 5'7", my knees actually aren't up against this, and this is with it all the way back. So this is a surprisingly usable amount of space for somebody my height, which is nice. The floor obviously is lower than I expected it to be. Hyundai says there's around 30 inches of legroom back here, which is around 2 inches less versus the Palisade, their larger family SUV. You do have third row air vents, cup holders, hard touch plastic, but you can see the window provides some nice views back here. There's also your own set of rear seat third row climate controls, which is located here in the actual third row area with the vent and the actual power outlet cup holders. and stuff, and then you can see the high roof of this vehicle really gives you tons of headroom space. So if you're over 6 feet tall, you can fit back here, although the legroom space could be tight, but the headroom space is definitely more than most of its competitors. So overall, the third row is an unexpected surprise in this vehicle, and it also is usable for average size adults or kids. So that's something to consider if you guys are looking at this particular class of vehicle. So unlike the previous generation Santa Fe XRT, which was basically an appearance package, it seems like Hyundai has finally decided to actually give us some hardware upgrades to give this vehicle more off-road capability. And it certainly needs it, especially with this handsome new rugged design. I mean, the boxy profile of the Santa Fe is surely going to attract a new group of buyers to Hyundai showrooms, and the XRT model finally delivers that extra capability. As you guys see, the all-terrain tires are certainly an improvement. I also like the way the 18-inch wheels appear. I also like the fact that Hyundai actually gave this vehicle a raised suspension. Extra 1.3 inches, around 8.5 or 8.3 inches of ground clearance is actually a pretty decent amount because the standard Santa Fe only has 7 inches, and that'll definitely scrape. Speaking of scrape, if you guys do take this off-road, it actually does include a front skid plate at the front, which is definitely going to be something that's very beneficial for those of you who plan to go off-roading. I mean, obviously, it's still a unibody SUV with an all-independent suspension. There's no lockers here. There's no, actual four-wheel drive system with a low-range transfer case. So you're not going to be taking this vehicle too far off the beaten path with your buddy's Jeep. But for those of you who are looking at something like a Subaru Outback, I think this is definitely going to be an interesting alternative, especially if you guys need the extra space, the extra third row capacity, and you just prefer something with a much more improved infotainment system with more modern features, because as you guys know, Subaru tends to be lagging a little bit there in terms of their infotainment tech. Now, if you guys are looking to put the Santa Fe XRT in your driveway, this vehicle is technically already on sale. It only comes with the gas engine. The hybrid, you're gonna have to wait another couple months because production for the hybrid will start in April/May. But the base price of the Santa Fe is just under 34 grand. The XRT version will cost you around $6,000 more. So if this vehicle starts at around $40,600, it also includes standard all-wheel drive, which is technically an $1,800 upcharge on other trims. So really, in reality, Hyundai only charges around 2 grand more versus the SEL trim, on which this vehicle is based, to go to the more off-road capable XRT. My tester here with Destination comes in at around $41,995. $41,995 actually compares very favorable to something like the Subaru Outback Onyx XT with its turbocharged engine, which that vehicle will also be in the $40,000 range. There are a couple of upscale features that I would like Hyundai to add on the XRT, like ventilated front seats with memory function, the dual panel sunroof. I'm hoping that Hyundai will eventually offer like a premium package to kind of bridge the gap a little closer, because right now, if you want to look at a limited or an XRT, there's like a $5,000 price difference. This vehicle is also around $5,000 more expensive than the previous model, but with the increase in size, the standard turbocharged engine, the extra capability, it might be worth a look. And Hyundai also expects around 15% of owners to actually, or 15% of buyers to actually be considering the XRT. So it's obviously worth a look. And it's nice to see that Hyundai is actually giving us a more off-road capable version to go with the more rugged design. Well, with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full tour on the 2024 Hyundai Santa Fe in this off-road oriented XRT trim. If you're also looking to see the latest vehicles I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.